following the arrest of Teffo, he leveled allegations against Police Minister Bheki Cele. Watch.
Why are you being arrested?
They arrest me because I'm in this case.
Okay.
That's it, that's it.
Is this why you're arresting him?
Yeah. Bheki Cele doesn't want me in this case. You see. That's the reason. He's got a warrant of arrest from January. Why he didn't accept
What are the charges? What are the charges?
I don't know the charges.
Have you raised his rights?
Now I'm leaving my right behind. These fellows are important. Why should I go to the cell? Why should I go to the cell? For what reason?
No, let's go.
We
take him to the cell without reaching his rights.
You didn't give me
It's fine. You will challenge that in court. It's fine, guys.
No, that's the attitude. I want to push my file.
How?
Untie me. Untie me.
He knows his
Let's go. These are my files. Let's go. Let's go. You're in the left. You're in the left. Don't fight me, please. No, why will you have
Our let's second reaction now. Police Minister Bheki Cele joins me to talk about this and more. Ndosi, good evening and thank you very much for your time. I know we had called you to talk about Pimville, but of course these are breaking news as they happen, so we are not ambushing you. And I'm sure your communications had prepared you that this has happened, so you would have expected a question around this particular one. The arrest today of the defense advocate, many are saying it is malicious. He, of course, says it is linked to the Senzo Meyiwa case, and the conspiracy is that there are senior officers, politicians, including yourself and those in high office in the NPA, who are allegedly not happy with the way that he is handling this case. What do you firstly say to the allegations leveled against you that you don't personally want him on this case?
Well, let me give a little bit of thanks, good evening, Thabo, and the rest of your viewership. Today from 8 a.m. I left Pretoria at 6:45. I was in Pimville, and I left Pimville a little bit after 3. And is when I received the message on the phone from the spokesperson, Lorenzo, saying that the advocate has been arrested. And a few minutes later, at 3:41, I received the message that the accusation is that the arrest is pushed by the Minister Bheki Cele and others. Then I immediately touched the National Commissioner to get a full report of what happened, and then I wait for that report until I know what really happened. I'm not able to comment on this matter.
Yeah. The allegations are that, Minister, you had initially come out and said these who are arrested definitely are the ones who are involved in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. And this particular advocate, in a separate docket, which he says will come out in the wash as witnesses are being called, it is revealed that there are, in fact, senior police officers who allegedly contaminated evidence in this Meyiwa case. And there is a huge cover-up that is going on that could possibly even implicate you.
Well, the case is in court. The advocate is in court. All those things must be set in court. Why do we have a parallel trial? Until we wait the outcomes of here as a platform to prove and say those things there, and then we wait for the outcome. I'm not going to be trying the court, the case out of court when the advocate is doing that. Let's wait. Let's put those things in court.
Is this a person non grata, so to say, or enemy of the police management, this particular advocate? He was, by the way, part of the police before he turned lawyer, and it's being said that he has ruffled many powerful people in the SAPS up the wrong way in his defense of a number of cases against police management.
Well, again, Thabo, that is information. You can convert it to evidence as an advocate. Take those police that harass him, including the minister, to court, and we hear the things from them.
All right. Then let's talk about just your own observation of the performance of your police today in this arrest. There are questions around reading him his rights and certainly affording him a reason why he's being arrested. Do you think the fact that that in itself was not done in how this arrest was effected is a correct way in which this matter should have been approached?
That is exactly the report I'm waiting for.
So you're waiting for a report from the police commissioner on that, on how this arrest was effected?
How everything emanated, how everything went, including the question you've just raised.
Yeah. Now, you have seen the clip, but on your own assessment at first glance of the clip, do you think process and protocol and procedures were adhered to in effecting this arrest?
It's exactly. I'm not going to preempt the request I've made, Thabo, that I want that report in the shortest possible time, and I'll be able to comment after I've received that report.
All right. Do you think this will in any way delay this court case that has been delayed already for 8 years? And what's your feeling on that?
Well, the sooner the case is finished, the better. But I'm told that the case anyway has been postponed until the 30th of May, even before what happened today. So if the case was done 8 years ago, that would be the best for us. But it still nonetheless is a progress that we are all waiting, and the outcome that we are all waiting for.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your indulgence, Minister. Now, I know, of course, you today were in Pimville, as you mentioned, from 8 o'clock, and there's a number of issues that have been raised with you by the residents of Pimville. One of the key issues which has really come up is the pace and the degree at which your officers are responding to the challenges of crime in the community. Others even saying, you know, if those who are affected are more powerful people, then there is Hollywood-style response, and even the minister comes and it becomes a big thing. But if it's the normal member of society, there is no such an excitement and prioritization of the matter as you see in high-profile cases. How do you say you will address that particular issue?
Well, this was the second visit to the community in a week's time, yes, because I was there last Wednesday, and we agreed with the community that I come back today to update them on the things that were put. By the way, there is no high profile. It's an ordinary South African that were gunned down there. I'm not aware if he's very much on profile. And unfortunately, I can say this, I visit so many places without media, without anybody knowing where people lose their life, where things happen, including, for instance, let me put this case. There was a funeral at Thabo on Friday, a very high profile of the diver, South African police, who died saving lives there. Everybody was there. Everybody knows I was there. But nobody knows that I was in the funeral on Sunday because the wife of the police died and all that. So you are not going to accuse me that I'm not attending such of these places because the media and people that don't know that I'm there. I will always respond as the communities call, as they've called last about 3 weeks ago in Tipsloot. I was there, as they've called in Zandspruit, as they've called all over. We'll respond and put the shoulder on the wheel to try to do the best to assist and work with the communities.
There is this debate, and you've expressed your view on it, saying it's one individual, this was a meeting, so this is not an ultimatum as far as you're concerned. But a view is being put out there that within 30 days, the community in Pimville would like to see 3 informal settlements being demolished. It's not necessarily your area of overseeing, because you're a police minister, you're not an informal settlement, or human settlement, shall I say. But how are you going to address that situation in such a way that it doesn't deteriorate into violence and disorder?
Well, last week that thing was raised, Thabo, was raised And somebody even went, I think is one of the journalists, that people were worried that I did not go to those places. By the way, last week I visited a chicken farm. I physically went there. I visited the dump area. It's only Masero that I didn't go. Maybe that journalist didn't have better information, just peddled the information that was wrong. I'm not going to mention who she is. But I visited those places. This was raised. Today it was raised. It was a packed meeting, Thabo, in the hall, the community hall of Pimville. And one person made that call. It was not the resolution of the meeting, and many other calls were made. But the Minister of Police spoke, and the Minister of Police raised the issue that communities have all the right to rise, to march. The Constitution, the legislation allows them. But there are conditions. You do all those things within the law. If you break the law, it doesn't matter who you are. Whether you're South African, whether you're a foreigner, whether you're high, whether you're low, whether you're popular, whether you're unknown, once you break the law. That is unfortunate that that clip is not played. It's only the people promising to break the law. The response that say you shall not break the law will be enforced, is not played.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and you can raise that point, Minister, that the law must not be broken. But you know, one would say that that issue would have been raised even at the chicken farm incident, where the residents went there to say they want to confront those who are stealing copper cables in the area. It's always been said, don't take law into our own hands. The law must not be broken. The laws were broken and lives were lost. So the concern is that proactively, how are you going to deal with this issue? Because you even heard there the Induna of the Nensfield hostel saying that he will join the fight against the crime with the people of Pimville. There's this war talk, so to speak, for lack of a better word. And if this is not handled in the manner that it should be handled proactively, it might deteriorate into something that we do not desire.
And Induna was told that we'll do that within the law. Induna Tumaguti. But maybe another thing that was not seen, quite several days Induna came to the Minister of Police wanting to talk about matters, including this one. And that meeting is coming on Monday. So I'm not going to give the agenda on that. So it's unfortunate that those were not heard, some were heard. But what happened there, Thabo, the residents, as they put it, they went to speak to the Pimville Zone 7 and 5. They went to speak to the people of Chicken Farm, who allegedly they opened fire without provocation. They say they were going to say to them, please, you are putting us in the darkness. Can you stop digging these cables and all that? Instead of communicating with them, they pulled fire, and indeed we lost life, and thanks God, others' life were spared. And I visited some of those people. So we had to act. I fully agree with you. That's why, Thabo, 2 people have already appeared in court, arrested for the case. When we went and chased those people, one person exchanged fire with the police, and that person was gunned down and died. Those people will be applying for the bail. 2 firearms have been found, and we are pursuing that case. Around that, there have been operations. 840 people were arrested from 4:30 this morning until 9. Around those, many foreigners and South Africans were arrested. Almost 1,000 mandraks were found, a lot of dagga. But more than anything during the day, tons and tons of copper, tons of Prasa property, telecom, and all that was found, estimated at 100 million. The case, because it's a case against the state, has been handed over to the DPCI, and those people are questioned, and we're intending to close the thing down. Something good has come out of the activity and activism of the community, yeah, of which we encourage, but we're very strict within the law.
Let's take a question from Anonymous and integrate it into what you've just said and just get an overall sense of how you're going to approach this. Anonymous in Soshanguve is saying, how is Minister Cele going to manage the situation of cable theft all over Gauteng? As I'm speaking now, there's no power around Soshanguve in Pretoria. No one is taking action against those criminals. The broader question, Minister, is an integrated approach, not a piecemeal approach. Every time there's a fire erupting, you're going to put it off. How are you going to approach this thing of the protection of infrastructure, be it PRASA infrastructure, be it ESCOM infrastructure, as you put it, that belongs to the state?
Well, several responses that are not knee-jerk responses, Thabo, have been put in the South African police. I'm sure you are aware that there is a team that is working permanently in KZN of political killings. I'm sure we are aware that there is a team that is working in Western Cape of the extortion. I'm sure we are aware that there is a team that is working in Pretoria of kidnapping, which have serious breakthroughs, including a 3-year-old that was found a few days ago. Indeed, the infrastructure thing, the president has called on it in 2 zonas, and that's why the management of the police is putting that thing together, that team together. It has been working, unfortunately, in an uncoordinated way. Several people have been arrested for hijacking the construction sites on demanding some percentage on those. Some people have been arrested. But this one is going to be permanent, Thabo, done with the metros and other law enforcement, including, by the way, the private security companies that we work with. But it will be also empowered and enhanced. Things like intelligence detectives, because, for instance, if you go to Soweto and Pimville and other places, there is something awkward. Those people that are digging for this copper, digging these furrows, they make them very shallow, and it's easy for the criminals to come and harvest these things out. You wonder, why do they do that? But some of these things, even the resident would say that we grew up here in the Soweto. We don't know where these lines are. But the people, they go in the bush, they go in an awkward place, and they dig them. Suspicion is that some people, they give them the map from the contractors, and they even suspect that from the ESCOM, they give them the map and all that. So it's a big syndicate that we're supposed to respond in a big way, not just to pick up those that are digging, but those that are planning and working together with those. But not only those that they use these things to export, that they have these areas where they've got these machineries to break down. So it's that kind of approach of which soon we'll be responding on it.
I appreciate your time, Minister. Thank you very much for coming on. Minister of Police there, Bheki Cele, on those 2 matters, what transpired today in the Senzo Meyiwa court case, but also what you heard today from the residents of Pimville.